Hello and welcome. Let's begin by acknowledging one undeniable truth. Overthinking is a silent killer. It doesn't roar like anger, nor does it shout like depression. Yet it slowly, quietly, meticulously erodes your joy from the inside out. What's truly insidious is that most people are completely unaware they're doing it. They genuinely believe they're just being careful, or clever, or thoroughly prepared. But in reality, they are trapped, paralyzed, and profoundly lost within the labyrinths of their own minds. So, why is this topic of paramount importance right now? Today's world is a relentless torrent of noise, speed, and overstimulation. You unlock your phone, and instantly, you're bombarded by an incessant stream of information, comparisons, judgments, and pressures. You might have already been dwelling on a comment a friend made yesterday, and now you find yourself obsessing over something a stranger posted online. Soon, you're caught in a spiraling loop of, what if I fail? What if they don't like me? What if I say something inappropriate? What if they misunderstood what I said yesterday? What if I've squandered my chance? Before you know it, you're sitting in your room, physically inert but mentally utterly exhausted, as if you've just completed a grueling marathon. That is the insidious trap of overthinking. It systematically drains your vital energy, pilfers your precious confidence, sabotages your sleep, and ultimately damages your overall well-being. Worst of all, it prevents you from truly living. Do you dream of starting a YouTube channel? You overthink it. Do you aspire to speak English fluently? You overthink it. Do you want to send a heartfelt message to someone you care about? You overthink it. And by the time your tumultuous thoughts finally settle, the golden opportunity has already slipped away. Overthinking is a cunning thief, and if left unchecked, it will silently but surely steal your future. So, why do we fall into this trap? We overthink because, at our core, we crave control. We operate under the flawed belief that if we just analyze something long enough, we will uncover the perfect answer. However, life doesn't hand out perfect answers. It presents you with a series of choices. You either seize them and move forward, or you miss them entirely. Overthinking is a deceptive lie the brain tells itself, promising safety through incessant contemplation, but all it ever truly delivers is fear. So now, let's explore how to break free from this mental prison. We're not talking about fleeting, superficial tips, but rather real, potent, life-changing solutions that will become a permanent part of your life. This video is designed not only to help you conquer overthinking, but also to significantly enhance your English proficiency, fortify your mindset, and uplift your entire life. Solution 1. Your mind lies. Let's confront the most fundamental and liberating truth. Your mind lies. It doesn't do so maliciously, intending to harm you, but rather misguidedly, in its desperate attempt to protect you. Your brain wasn't primarily engineered to make you happy. Its core directive is to keep you alive. Consequently, it will perpetually scan for and prepare you for danger, even when no real threat exists. This is why you find yourself thinking, they didn't reply, maybe they hate me. Or, he looked at me strangely, perhaps I said something wrong. Or, I failed once, I'm probably destined to fail again. You feel a pang of unease, and your mind immediately concludes, something terrible is coming. But all of this is merely internal noise. It's not truth. It's fear masquerading as fact. Here is the unvarnished truth. You don't know what others are truly thinking. You don't possess a crystal ball to see the future. You cannot definitively predict how any situation will unfold. Yet, your mind consistently acts as if it does, fabricating elaborate false narratives and then cruelly punishing you with them. This is precisely why the first crucial step in dismantling overthinking is to stop blindly trusting every single thought. Not all thoughts are factual, and not all feelings are indicative of reality. Your brain may try to deceive you, but you are under no obligation to believe its deceptions. The moment you grasp this profound realization, you reclaim your inherent power. Allow me to share a compelling true story. Harry Houdini, the legendary escape artist, was renowned worldwide for his ability to break free from any prison, any handcuffs, any chains. One day, he visited a small town and challenged the local police, saying, "Lock me in your strongest jail cell. I guarantee I will escape in 30 minutes." They obliged. Houdini, ever confident, simply smiled. He had performed this feat countless times before. He skillfully extracted a tiny hidden tool from his belt and began meticulously working on the lock. He tried repeatedly left, right, up, down, but the lock steadfastly refused to yield. 30 minutes turned into an hour. He was exhausted, drenched in sweat, and growing increasingly frustrated. Finally, he conceded defeat. He slumped against the door, and to his utter astonishment, it simply swung open. The door had never been locked. It was only closed. Yet, Houdini's unwavering belief that it was locked caused him to act as if it were an insurmountable barrier. The powerful lesson here is that overthinking operates in precisely the same way. Your mind whispers, "I can't do it. I'll surely fail. They don't like me. I'm simply not good enough." And so, you don't even try. You don't move forward. You don't speak your mind. But just like Houdini, you are ensnared by a lie. The door is not locked. You are not stuck. You are not inherently weak. It is simply your mind spinning a false narrative. Your thoughts are not always accurate reflections of reality. Do not allow a mere lie to dictate and control your life. Push the door open. Break free from the thought. Your boundless freedom awaits. Solution 2. Catch the storm before it grows. Overthinking doesn't typically erupt like an explosive bomb. It often begins as an almost imperceptible whisper. A small, quiet thought tentatively enters your mind. You dismiss it. Then it returns, more insistently. Then again. Gradually, it starts to grow arms and legs, developing a distinct body and a commanding voice. Before you know it, it's shouting deafeningly in your head, leaving you feeling utterly helpless. The only effective way to break this destructive cycle is to intercept it early. The very moment you recognize you're falling into an overthinking loop, consciously tell yourself, "This isn't helping me. I'm not solving anything. I'm just stuck. I need to stop." That single declarative sentence acts like a sharp sword, cutting through the escalating mental noise. It's akin to stopping a train before it gains unstoppable speed, because the longer you remain entrenched in the thought, the deeper and more inescapable the trap becomes. Imagine you sent a message to someone, and they haven't replied. Thought 1. Maybe they're simply busy. Thought 2. Perhaps they're ignoring me. Thought 3. Could they be angry? Thought 4. What did I do wrong? Thought 5. Why does this always happen to me? Thought 6. A cascade of pain, guilt, and anxiety. The simple truth? They were probably just asleep. That's it. But your brain, in its zeal, has already written and produced an entire emotional movie. This illustrates precisely why catching that initial thought is absolutely critical. Interrupt the spiral before it even has a chance to begin. Solution 3. Empty your brain before it overflows. Have you ever witnessed a cup overflowing? You keep pouring water, and inevitably, at a certain point, it spills everywhere. That's precisely what happens to your brain when you don't consistently release your thoughts. They accumulate, one after another, piling up until there's no mental space left whatsoever. Suddenly, you feel an inexplicable heaviness, a profound burden, yet you can't even pinpoint its origin. So, here's a powerful solution. Write them down. Grab a pen, find a notebook, and meticulously jot down everything you're thinking. Don't worry about perfect grammar or elegant phrasing. This isn't for public consumption. It's solely for you. Allow your brain the much-needed space to breathe, Because thoughts, though loud and chaotic in your head, somehow become quiet, ordered, and manageable once they're committed to paper. Write about what you're thinking, why you believe it matters, what specific fears you harbor, and what outcomes you truly wish for. And once it's all externalized, you'll observe something remarkable. You'll feel lighter, clearer, and profoundly more at peace. This is because you've ceased being a prisoner of your own internal noise. This isn't merely journaling. This is a vital mental detox. This is an act of survival. If you don't articulate and release your thoughts, they will inevitably manifest themselves as stress, anxiety, and even physical sickness. So, let them out. Your deepest peace is waiting, patiently hiding beneath them. Solution 4. What if doesn't exist? Let's be brutally honest. The vast majority of overthinking originates with two seemingly innocuous words. What if? What if I fail? What if they abandon me? What if I utterly embarrass myself? What if I never achieve success? What if absolutely everything goes wrong? And here lies the profound problem. You are living in a future that hasn't even materialized yet, a future that, in all likelihood, may never come to pass. You experience genuine pain from an event that doesn't exist. You feel the sting of rejection from a conversation that never happened. You are consumed by anxiety about a future you solely conjured in your imagination. That is why what if is arguably the most perilous question your mind can ask itself. It creates vivid, compelling movies in your head and convinces you that they are undeniably real. Consider this example. A student is about to speak English for the very first time in front of a group. His mind immediately starts screaming, "What if they laugh? What if I forget a crucial word? What if my accent is terrible? What if they think I'm stupid?" Now, pause for a moment. What has actually happened? Absolutely nothing. He hasn't even opened his mouth. Yet, in his mind, he has already failed not just once, but 10 times over. Consequently, he remains silent. His confidence withers. And over time, so does his dream. That is the devastating power of what if. So, here's the essential truth. What if is not your ally. What if is not your future. What if is not your reality. It is simply your fear, cleverly disguised as a question. What if doesn't exist? Do not allow it to control a life that is eagerly waiting for you to begin living it. Solution 5. Say the thought out loud. Overthinking derives its immense power from its hidden nature. It whispers insidious suggestions exclusively within your head, playing them like an endless, looping background score. But there's one peculiar yet profoundly effective trick that can obliterate its power. Say it out loud. Literally vocalize the thought. Articulate it. Say, "I think my boss hates me," or "I feel like I'm going to fail this test," or "I believe no one truly loves me." Now, stop and truly listen. When you give voice to the thought, it magically begins to sound small, weak, irrational, even utterly silly. This is because your brain, left to its own devices, is highly emotional, but your spoken voice, by its very nature, introduces logic and reason. Let's take another example. You're agonizing. What if they reject my job application? Now, say it out loud. "I think I will be rejected." At this point, your brain will respond, "Okay, and what will happen if that's true?" You then logically reply, "I'll feel bad for a bit, but then I'll try again." Suddenly, the fear diminishes. The mental storm begins to calm. Why? Because when you articulate a thought, it effectively migrates from the emotional, reactive part of your brain to the logical, reasoning part. It transforms into something you can analyze, manage, control, and ultimately understand. So, the next time you find yourself ensnared in a mental loop, try this simple 3-step process. Step 1. Speak the thought. Step 2. Listen to how it actually sounds. Step 3. Ask yourself, is this truly worth all of this fear and agitation? In the vast majority of cases, the answer will be a resounding no, because the thought itself is rarely as terrifying as the suffocating silence that surrounds it. Solution 6. Stop trying to be perfect. Let's face a stark reality. One of the predominant reasons people overthink is their relentless pursuit of perfection. They yearn to say the perfect thing, project the perfect image, make the perfect decision, craft the perfect plan, and ultimately achieve the perfect results. And what is the tragic outcome of this relentless chase? They do absolutely nothing, because nothing ever feels good enough. The crushing pressure of attaining perfection becomes an even heavier burden than the actual fear of failing. Consider the example of a young woman who dreams of launching her own YouTube channel. She possesses brilliant ideas, genuine passion, and a compelling story to share. But then the familiar what-ifs begin. What if my background isn't aesthetically pleasing enough? What if my English isn't absolutely flawless? What if people dislike my voice? What if I make a mistake? So, she waits. One day stretches into a month, which then extends into a year, and her vibrant dream slowly dies, simply because she was perpetually waiting to be flawless. But here's the powerful truth. Perfection is merely fear in a beautiful, deceptive disguise. People don't genuinely connect with perfection. They connect with authenticity, real words, real stories, real effort, and genuine growth. Nobody in history achieved greatness by being perfect. They achieved it by starting. So, put an end to the tyranny of perfection. Choose progress, because done is undeniably better than perfect, and the world desperately needs you, not some unattainable perfect version of you. Solution 7. Move your body immediately. Don't allow the thought to take root and consume you. When a distressing thought first enters your mind, your initial instinct is often to sit with it, to ponder it, to figure it out. So you keep thinking and thinking and thinking. But here's a crucial truth most people are unaware of. Thinking harder doesn't magically produce answers. It merely leads to profound exhaustion. Overthinking is not a sign of superior intelligence. It's a symptom of overwhelming mental traffic. And when there's too much traffic, you become immobile, completely stuck. Now, listen very carefully. Your body is inextricably linked to your brain. The way you sit, stand, and move profoundly affects how you feel. When you overthink, your body often becomes unnaturally still. You freeze, your muscles tighten, your breathing becomes shallow, and your face grows tense, without even realizing it. You are now thoroughly trapped in your head, and your physical self has joined forces with your fear. That is precisely why the fastest and most effective way to escape the clutches of overthinking is to move your body. Not necessarily for exercise, not to burn calories, but because motion powerfully interrupts emotion. Here's how. Stand up and walk briskly around your room. Go outside and feel the fresh air against your skin. Do some jumping jacks. Clean something. Anything. Splash cold water on your face. Stretch your arms and legs. Jump up and down for 10 seconds. It sounds incredibly simple, but it is genuinely life-changing. Because when you move your body, you immediately shift your focus. Your brain ceases its spiraling. You begin to breathe more deeply. You become acutely aware of your physical surroundings. You return to the present moment. Let's imagine someone sitting on their bed, consumed by worry for hours. Why didn't they call? What if I messed everything up? What if this debilitating pain never goes away? Now, imagine that same person stands up, puts on some energizing music, and starts organizing their desk. 5 minutes later, they might not be beaming with joy, but they are certainly not drowning in despair anymore. The mental storm has significantly slowed. That is the transformative power of movement. Don't sit there and drown in your thoughts. Stand up and aggressively interrupt the destructive pattern. When the body leads, the mind will inevitably follow. Solution 8. Replace thinking with doing. One tiny step at a time. Overthinking absolutely thrives on confusion. It feeds voraciously on indecision. It whispers to you, "You're not ready. You need more time. Let's just think a little more." But here's the brutal, liberating truth. You don't need more thinking. You desperately need movement. You need momentum. The human brain can conjure 100 imaginary problems, but it can only truly solve one when you take action. Let's say you're eager to start speaking in English. You think, what if I use the wrong word? What if people laugh at me? What if I completely freeze? So, you plan, you prepare, you overthink, and ultimately, you do nothing. Here's what you should do instead. Forget perfection. Forget external approval. Forget the distant future. Just do one tiny thing. Speak one sentence out loud. Record one short voice note on your phone. Write one single line in a journal. One small action is exponentially more powerful than 1,000 perfect thoughts, because it fundamentally teaches your brain that we are not here to be afraid. We are here to move forward. The longer you remain sedentary, the more entrenched your fear becomes. But the very moment you act, even a little, the fear begins to lose its suffocating grip. Let's say you want to apply for a job, but you're overthinking every word of the email, every detail of the resume, every perfect sentence. Instead, simply open your laptop, type the first line, and save the draft. That's it. Tomorrow, write the second line. This is how you conquer overthinking. One small, deliberate movement at a time. You don't need to finish the entire race today. You just need to take that crucial first step, right now. Solution 9. Limit your decision time. Clarity stems from action, not from delay. Many individuals mistakenly believe that simply waiting will bring them clarity. So, when they feel confused, they wait. They wait for the right moment. They wait for a definitive sign. They wait for everything to feel absolutely perfect. But time doesn't always deliver peace. Sometimes, time only compounds confusion. You start with a single question. Should I message them or not? An hour passes. Then 3 hours. You've now written and deleted 5 different drafts. Your heart is pounding, and you're more stressed than ever before. That is the insidious poison of delayed decisions. The brain detests the unknown, so it incessantly analyzes, questions, and circles back on itself. However, clarity doesn't emerge from thinking longer. Clarity emerges from choosing faster and then adjusting as needed. So, what's the effective solution? Set a strict time limit. Tell yourself, I have exactly 10 minutes to make a decision, and then I will move forward. Not because you're reckless, but because you prioritize your peace of mind. For example, you're overthinking whether to accept a new opportunity. Set a timer. Ask yourself, what do I truly want? What's the absolute worst that could happen? Will this decision move me closer to my goals? Then, decide. Not tomorrow, not next week now, because genuine peace doesn't come from making perfect decisions. It comes from making chosen decisions. Even a 70% certain decision brings far more peace than a 100% overthought and delayed one. Make the choice, move forward, and adjust if necessary. But do not sit idly in the fire, perpetually waiting for your fear to miraculously disappear. Solution 10. Focus on what you can control and let go of the rest. Overthinking often arises from an intense, misguided attempt to control the future, to control other people, to control outcomes, to control absolutely everything. But the fundamental truth is, you simply cannot. You cannot control what others think, or who chooses to stay in your life or leave it. You cannot alter the past, nor can you precisely dictate what will unfold next month. So why subject yourself to suffering over things you have no control over? Instead, redirect all your precious energy toward what you can control: your actions, your responses, your breath, your habits, your focus. Let's visualize this. You sent a message to someone, and they haven't replied. You immediately begin to think, why didn't they answer? Are they angry? Should I apologize? Should I send another message? But can you control their mood? Can you read their mind? No. So instead, you take a deep breath. You go for a walk. You move on with your day. You attend to your work. You clean your room. You learn something new. Because your true power resides in the present moment, not in the state of their inbox. Here's a simple but profound rule. If it's outside your control, it's outside your stress. Let go of the storm raging outside. Instead, build an unshakable peace within. That is not a sign of weakness. That is a testament to immense strength. Because true peace doesn't come from meticulously fixing everything. It comes from focusing intently on what genuinely matters and gracefully letting go of everything else. Solution 11. Accept that not everyone will like you. One of the most significant reasons people succumb to overthinking is their excessive concern with what others think of them. They constantly worry. Did I say something wrong? Do they find me strange? Did I look foolish in that video? Why wasn't I invited? Perhaps they no longer like me. This pain is profoundly real and incredibly heavy, because at our core, every human being yearns to feel accepted, liked, respected, loved, and understood. But here is a difficult truth that, paradoxically, brings immense peace. Not everyone will like you, and not everyone is meant to. And that, unequivocally, is perfectly okay. Even the kindest, most beautiful, most talented person on this planet has individuals who harbor dislike for them. You are not put on this earth to please the entire world. In fact, the more you desperately try to be liked by absolutely everyone, the more you become a stranger to your authentic self. You mute your unique voice. You contort your personality. You shrink your magnificent dreams. You utter yes when every fiber of your being screams no. And this is the inevitable, devastating result. You don't feel loved. You feel utterly exhausted. You don't feel accepted. You feel like a fraud. And the worst part is, you begin to overthink every single word you say and every action you take. But when you embrace this liberating truth that some people will inevitably misunderstand you, dislike you, or reject you, something beautiful and transformative occurs. You become free. You speak with newfound courage. You walk with unshakable confidence. You finally breathe a genuine sigh of relief, because you are no longer desperately attempting to be someone you are not. Remember this. You do not need everyone to like you. You only need to like yourself. You were not born to impress them. You were born to express yourself. So stop endlessly replaying that moment. Stop exhaustively explaining your every move. Stop obsessing over whether they like you. Instead, ask yourself a far more powerful question. Do I like who I am becoming? That profound answer will be your steadfast guide to lasting peace. Solution 12. Let go of perfection. Progress is more powerful. Another insidious, silent killer of peace is the relentless obsession with being perfect. People often declare, I can't start until it's perfect. I can't speak English until my grammar is 100% correct. I can't upload the video until everything looks professionally polished. I can't apply until my resume is absolutely flawless. And what invariably happens? They wait and wait and wait. In this agonizing period of waiting, time is squandered, invaluable opportunities are lost, confidence erodes, and the vibrant dream itself begins to fade, not because they failed, but because they never even dared to begin. Perfection is not your ultimate goal. It is your self-imposed prison. Perfection relentlessly whispers that you're never truly ready, that you're not good enough yet, that you'll undoubtedly embarrass yourself. But here's a truth no one often tells you. Progress is the very bedrock upon which greatness is built. Every single confident speaker was once riddled with uncertainty. Every immensely successful creator made cringe-worthy, terrible first videos. Every skilled writer produced countless flawed pages. But they persistently kept moving forward. They diligently kept learning. They consciously chose action over debilitating anxiety. Allow me to imprint a truth on your mind forever. Starting is better than waiting. Imperfect action is infinitely better than perfect hesitation. So, today, if your mind is stubbornly telling you, "It's not perfect yet," bravely answer back, "I'm not here to be perfect. I'm here to be real. I'm here to grow." Release this suffocating pressure. You are entirely allowed to be messy. You are entirely allowed to be in the process of learning. You are entirely allowed to show up, even when you're not 100% prepared, because you will genuinely grow by doing, not by endlessly thinking. Solution 13. Speak the thought out loud. Expose the lie. Overthinking wields its immense power because it thrives hidden within the confines of your own head, where no one else can hear its insidious whispers. It tells you, "You're not good enough. They're all judging you. You'll fail, just like before." But here's what miraculously happens when you actually articulate that thought out loud. It instantly sounds weaker, smaller, less real, almost absurd. Let's say you're consumed by the thought, "I'm a failure. I'm worthless." Now, consciously say it out loud. "I believe I'm a failure." Stop. Ask yourself, is that truly accurate? Is there any tangible proof? Or is this simply fear speaking, attempting to deceive me? By merely verbalizing the thought, you empower yourself with the crucial opportunity to question its validity. You shift from a state of raw emotion to one of objective awareness, from blind belief to illuminating clarity. This technique is profoundly powerful for one crucial reason. Most thoughts that relentlessly cycle in your head are grossly exaggerated, but you never fully realize this because you never truly hear them with your own ears. Speaking the thought exposes it, forcing you to confront it, and most importantly, it gives you the chance to replace it. So, here's a practical tip. Next time you catch yourself overthinking, pause and say, "Okay, let me speak this out loud." Then ask yourself, is this thought truly helping me? Is this thought kind? Is this thought even remotely true? If the answer to any of these questions is no, then consciously release it. Replace it with a more empowering one. I am learning. I am growing. I've navigated worse challenges before. I can certainly handle this. Because when your inner voice transforms from critical to kind, overthinking gradually begins to fade away. Solution 14. Look at facts, not feelings. Overthinkers frequently place an undue amount of trust in their emotions. They feel nervous, so they immediately conclude that something terrible is about to happen. They feel guilty, so they assume they must have done something wrong. They feel afraid, so they automatically presume danger is imminent. But emotions are not always reliable indicators of reality. They are merely signals, not infallible truths. Let's consider an example. A student finishes an English speaking test. He feels absolutely terrible afterward and laments, "I messed up completely. I was so nervous. I'm sure I failed." But the objective facts are, he answered 90% of the questions, he utilized a broad and appropriate vocabulary, and he bravely continued speaking even when he made a minor mistake. The facts unequivocally state that he performed well. His feeling, however, proclaims that he failed. Which one is true? The facts. Your emotions are undoubtedly important, but when you overthink, emotions become wild, untamed, and wildly exaggerated. They trick you into perceiving things that simply don't exist. That is precisely why you need to pause and ask yourself, what do I know for sure? What is the undeniable truth, not just the fear? Imagine you text someone, and they don't reply for several hours. You feel ignored, you feel rejected, but the facts could be. They were asleep, they were busy, they were simply offline. That's why overthinking effectively ceases when you methodically examine the evidence instead of allowing your emotions to dictate your reality. So, the next time you feel a surge of panic, shame, or fear, pause and deliberately ask, what are the actual facts here? That single question has the power to spare you countless hours of needless anxiety. Solution 15. Don't be afraid to ask for help. You're not weak, you're human. Overthinking is all too often a deeply private battle. You sit quietly, you smile outwardly in front of others, and you confidently declare, I'm fine. But internally, you are trapped within a raging storm of thoughts. You weep in silence. You meticulously overthink every single conversation. You endlessly replay every perceived mistake. You fret incessantly about the future, and you constantly question your own worth. Yet, you never utter a single word to anyone. You maintain your silence because you mistakenly believe that they won't understand, or I don't want to bother them, or I really should be able to handle this alone. If I